They say she only appears when it rains lightly, not a downpour, just a whisper of drizzle, and always at night, when the air smells like wet pavement, and the streetlights flicker for no reason. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen her myself. It was late March when I visited Japan. I was there on a research grant, staying in a small town about 2 hours outside of Kyoto. It was the kind of quiet place where the train only came twice a day, and the vending machines outnumbered people. I had just finished dinner at a ramen shop near the old shopping arcade. The weather app said light rain expected, so I brought an umbrella. Not that it mattered. The rain never really fell. It just hovered in the air like the world was exhaling. I took the long way home. That night, through a back alley behind the arcade. It wasn't lit well, but I liked the silence. There were no cars, no voices, just my footsteps, and the soft tick-tick-tick of rain tapping against my umbrella. That's when I saw her, a girl, standing perfectly still at the far end of the alley. She wore a white raincoat, the hood up. Her head was tilted slightly to the side, like she was listening for something. She held an umbrella, too, but hers was broken. One side of it hung limp, the metal bones poking through like broken fingers. I stopped. For a second, I thought maybe she was lost, or maybe she needed help. She wasn't moving. So I called out, "Dejubu desu ka, are you okay?" She didn't answer. She didn't even flinch. Then, very slowly, she turned. Just a little, not all the way. I never saw her face. The hood was too low, and the shadows too deep. But something about her, the way her body moved, made my skin crawl. It wasn't just slow. It was wrong. Like a puppet being pulled by strings. She turned back around and walked away. No rush, no panic, just steady, deliberate steps, deeper into the alley, toward the woods behind the train tracks. And for reasons I still can't explain, I followed her. The alley narrowed the further I went. Trees pressed in on both sides, and the rain seemed to get heavier. Not on me, but around me. Like the world was getting wetter except for where I stood. She was always just a few steps ahead. Never running, never turning back. I don't remember how long I walked. 5 minutes, 15? Then I realized something strange. The sound of my footsteps had stopped echoing. I paused, looked around. I was alone. No girl, no broken umbrella, just trees and silence. I turned to go back, and that's when I heard it. A soft creak, like wood bending. Then a wet drip, not rain, something thicker. I looked up. And there, hanging from a tree branch just a few feet ahead, was an umbrella. Not hers, not mine, but older, faded gray, torn open like something had pushed out from inside. It was hanging upside down, and beneath it, on the dirt path, footprints. Bare, small, leading in a circle. That's when I ran. I didn't tell anyone. What would I even say? That I followed some silent girl into the woods and found a haunted umbrella. But I started to notice things after that night. When it rained, my window would fog from the outside, even when it was closed. Sometimes my umbrella, the one I brought from home, would be wet in the morning, even if it hadn't rained. And once, I found a single gray hair on my pillow. Not mine, not my girlfriend's. Long, damp, curled like it had been twisted in the wind. A few weeks later, I overheard two old men talking in a cafe. They spoke softly, in Kansai dialect, but I caught the words, Shiroikdo, Kaureda Casa, white coat, broken umbrella. I asked the barista what they meant. She hesitated, then leaned in and said, "They say if you follow her, you don't come back the same. If you come back at all." I wish I had stopped that night. I wish I had turned around when I had the chance, because that was the first time I saw her, and it wasn't the last. They say if you see her once, you're marked. I didn't believe that at first. Not really. After that night, I tried to go back to normal. I kept telling myself it was just some weird local girl playing a prank, that I imagined the footprints, the umbrella, that I was tired, jet-lagged, that my brain filled in the blanks. But then little things started happening. My umbrella disappeared. Not the one I saw in the woods, mine. The one I brought from home. Gone from the umbrella stand outside my apartment door. Not stolen, Replaced. In its place was a cheap gray umbrella with a twisted metal rib, bent the same way as hers. I threw it away immediately. But the next morning, it was back, leaning against my door, still damp, still broken. A few nights later, I woke up at 3:07 a.m. No alarm, no sound, just wide awake. My window was fogged again, but this time there were finger streaks from the outside, 5 long smears, dragging slowly downward, like someone had pressed their hand to the glass and slid it down. I live on the 3rd floor. That's when I started hearing the tapping, not constant, not loud, but late at night, just after it starts raining. I'd hear the faint sound of rain hitting an umbrella outside my door. Not the roof, not the pavement, just a soft teek teek teek, like something standing still, just inches away waiting. I started asking questions. Quietly. Locals didn't like talking about her. Most would brush it off, say it's just a story, but a few would pause just long enough to suggest they knew more than they were letting on. One old woman, the owner of a tiny second-hand bookstore, finally gave me something. She called it Casa Ana. Not in the traditional Ure sense, not a ghost, but a pattern. Something that comes and goes over time. Each time it returns, it takes people. Always the same form. White coat, broken umbrella, silent. She told me this. You don't follow her, but if she follows you, it's already too late. The second time I saw her, I wasn't outside. I was on the train. Rain had just started falling. That soft, misty drizzle again. I was heading home from the city, sitting by the window. The car was half empty. Everyone quiet, eyes down, except one passenger, standing at the very end of the car, not facing anyone, just standing. I stared for a moment. White coat, hood up, umbrella in her hand, even though she was indoors. I told myself it couldn't be her. It's just a woman avoiding the rain, keeping to herself. Then the train passed under a flickering tunnel light, and I saw it. Her umbrella was dripping. Water ran down the fabric and pooled at her feet, but the ground was dry. It hadn't touched anyone else. No one looked at her. No one reacted. And in that moment, she turned her head. Just slightly, just enough for me to see the outline of her cheek. There was no face, just blackness beneath the hood. Wet, moving, like hair in water. I got off at the next station, didn't wait, didn't look back. I didn't sleep that night, not because I couldn't, because I was afraid that I started filming myself. It sounds stupid now, but after that night, the knocking, the dripping, the sound of her umbrella tapping against my door, I had to do something. Some part of me still wanted proof, because if I couldn't capture it, maybe it wasn't real, or worse, maybe I was losing my mind. So I set up my phone on a tripod by the window. It faced the front door, motion triggered, night vision on. For 3 nights, nothing happened. Just grainy footage of me pacing, reading, not sleeping. Then came the 4th night. And the rain. At 12 a.m., the camera activated. The video started with silence. No wind, no cars, just the rhythmic tick of water dripping outside. Then a figure moved past the camera. Very slowly, from right to left, not toward the door, past it. I leaned in, heart racing. It was her. White raincoat, umbrella dragging behind her like it was too heavy to carry. The broken rib scraping across the concrete. Skirk. But she never knocked. She didn't need to. She just looked up. Not at the door, at the camera, straight at it. As if she knew, as if she had always known. Then the footage glitched, just for a second. When it cleared, she was gone. I scrubbed through the clip over and over. No sound, no wind, no footsteps. But when I paused at the frame where she looked at the lens, I noticed something horrifying. Her reflection. In the window glass behind her. It didn't match her movement. While her head tilted slightly in the real image, the reflection was tilted the other way, and smiling. A wide, unnatural grin. One I never saw in person. One that felt like it was meant just for me. I shut the laptop. That same day, I contacted a man named Hiroshi Takeda. He used to be a paranormal blogger in the early 2000s. He went off-grid after a string of disturbing posts about the girl with the broken umbrella. Most people thought he faked his encounters or went insane, but he was still alive, and he agreed to meet me on one condition. We don't meet near water, he said. Not rain, not rivers, not even puddles. We met at a dry ramen shop under a railway bridge. He looked older than his photos, gaunt, paranoid, but focused. He didn't waste time. She's not a ghost, he said. Ghosts don't look for you. They don't learn your habits. She adapts. He slid a folder across the table. Inside, printed screenshots from old forums, local missing persons reports, blurry photos from CCTV, all the same. White coat, broken umbrella, alone, always near mirror-like surfaces, glass, puddles, car windows. She doesn't travel through space, he whispered. She travels through reflections. He told me that once you see her twice, you'll start seeing her in places she's not supposed to be. And then she starts seeing you in places you're not supposed to be. I didn't understand what that meant. Not then, but that night, as I brushed my teeth, I looked up and saw her in my bathroom mirror. She was standing behind me, umbrella closed, dripping onto the tile. I spun around. Nothing. Just steam. But when I looked back at the mirror, her wet footprints were still there. Leading into the reflection. I stopped using mirrors. I covered them all, slept with the lights on, kept every screen off, phone, tablet, even my microwave's digital clock. But she still came, not in reflections. Now, in dreams. Dreams where I'm walking through rain, barefoot, chasing the sound of her broken umbrella scraping behind me. Dreams where I'm not myself. I'm watching me, from behind, like she's in my body. The worst part, in the dreams, I'm smiling. I emailed Takeda, told him what was happening. He replied with just one line. If she gets inside you, it's already over. You have to sever the link before she opens the umbrella. What the hell did that mean? Open the umbrella? Hadn't it been open this whole time, or had she been waiting? The rain hasn't stopped in 3 days now, and earlier this evening, my door was wet. From the inside. Asterisk, the rain hasn't stopped. It's been for days now. Not pouring, not even heavy, just consistent, like the sky forgot how to do anything else. My apartment feels smaller. Walls wet, air thick, the windows are fogged inside and out. There's a smell now, mold and iron. I haven't left in days. Every time I open the door, it's there. That faint tick tick tick, not from the sky, but from something standing still, tapping. And the worst part, the sound of the umbrella opening echoed like thunder, not loud, but deep, like the sky itself had inhaled. And in that breath, the temple changed. The air grew heavy, like I just walked underwater. The shadows stopped flickering. The walls began to stretch, slow, soft, silent, like wax melting in reverse. I turned toward the collapsed part of the roof. She was standing there, not moving, not speaking. Her white coat was dry, untouched by the drizzle now falling through the broken ceiling. But her umbrella, wide open, shimmered like an oil slick, not wet, not real, just wrong. She raised her head. For the first time, I saw her face, not a blur, not a mask, but a mirror, a perfect reflection of me. Eyes hollowed, skin pale, lips smiling, though I wasn't. She opened her mouth, and I felt a pull, like wind through a crack in the world. Everything bent inward. The candle flickered violently, and the salt circle dissolved into nothing. Then the floor cracked, and I fell, not down, just away, into a space that didn't have direction. I was standing, then lying, then floating. The rain was falling, but upward, sideways, from within. All around me were umbrellas, hundreds, some open, some broken, some twitching. And beneath them, people, eyes glassy, skin gray, like mannequins frozen mid-step. Some held umbrellas, some were wrapped inside them, folded shut like cocoons. And in all of them, I saw my face. One of them turned to me. It was a boy, maybe 15, uniform soaked, lips blue. I didn't mean to follow her, he whispered. I just didn't want her to be alone. Another voice behind me. She's not alone. She's us. And then I understood. She wasn't a ghost. She was a collection, a vessel of everyone, whoever followed. A reflection that absorbed what it mirrored. Each time someone stepped behind her, she grew more complete, more aware. Until she could choose who to come for. And this time, she chose me. I ran. Nowhere to run to, just the illusion of escape. Endless corridors of rain and glass and echo. Every turn showed me another version of myself. Smiling, crying, bleeding, until I found it. The original umbrella. Gray, torn, open wide, but not empty. Inside it, I saw the real world. My apartment, my desk, my body, still, seated, eyes glassed over. I reached out. I touched the fabric, and I heard her voice, for the first time. Soft, familiar. You followed me once. Now let me follow you. I woke up. Back in my room. Everything was quiet. Dried out. The rain had stopped. The umbrella was gone. So was the mirror. So was the footage. So was the smell. So was the fear. I went outside. Neighbors waved. Sunlight filtered through. Clean glass. Birds sang. Normal. Peaceful. Real. But something felt off. Not wrong. Just slightly out of sync. And when I passed a parked car on the street, I caught my reflection in its window. It blinked before I did. That was a week ago. I still live here. Still drink my coffee. Still smile at strangers. But sometimes, when it drizzles, I find myself pausing at crosswalks, turning toward alleyways, tilting my head, just a little, like I'm listening. And when I hold my umbrella, I can't remember when I last opened it. But I know one day soon, I will. Because now I understand the pattern. The girl in the white coat never vanishes. She just waits to be followed.